This is Birmingham, Alabama, a city known for its culture, its resilience, and its steel backbone. But have you ever wondered how this place earned the nickname the Magic City? Because the truth is, there was no magic spell, no sudden miracle, just iron, fire, and a vision bold enough to reshape an entire valley. Today, we're stepping into the place where it all began, Sloss Furnaces, to uncover the story of how a city rose from red earth and the cost of the empire built in its glow. Before Birmingham existed, this was just Jones Valley. Quiet, unassuming, but beneath the surface, it held something extraordinary. One of the only places in the world where iron ore, coal, and limestone could all be found in close proximity. Not the only place on Earth, but rare enough to change everything. All it needed was someone willing to see it. That someone was Colonel James Withers Sloss. Born in 1820, Sloss wasn't formally educated, but he didn't need to be. He understood opportunity. Before the Civil War, he built wealth as a merchant and planter. After the war, when much of the South was rebuilding, Sloss saw something different. Not agriculture, industry. His first move? Railroads. Because resources mean nothing if you can't move them. In 1871, Sloss helped secure a deal with the Louisville and Nashville Railroad, connecting Jones Valley to major markets and setting the stage for something entirely new. With transportation in place, industry followed. And almost overnight, a valley became a city. In 1881, construction began on what would become Sloss Furnaces. Two massive blast furnaces rose from the red dirt, each designed to push the limits of efficiency using Whitwell stoves, which preheated air to make the fires burn hotter. In April of 1882, the furnaces blew in, and Birmingham roared to life. In its first year, Sloss produced over 24,000 tons of pig iron, a number that helped establish Birmingham as a serious industrial force. The city grew fast, faster than anyone expected. From just a few thousand people to over 100,000 within a few decades. It didn't feel real. So people gave it a name that matched the moment, the Magic City. Sloss himself stepped away in 1886, selling his company. It became the Sloss Sheffield Steel and Iron Company, a name that promised steel, but focused almost entirely on pig iron production. And business boomed. At its peak, the company operated multiple furnaces and controlled vast stretches of mineral-rich land, an empire built in fire. But that fire had a price, because behind every ton of iron was labor. Hard, dangerous, relentless labor. The furnaces ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Inside the cast sheds, temperatures could soar well above 120 degrees. The air was thick with smoke and dust. The ground trembled with machinery, and one mistake was all it took. Most of the workforce was made up of African American laborers, many of whom came seeking opportunity, only to find brutal working conditions and rigid segregation. White workers held skilled positions. Black workers were assigned the most dangerous jobs. Separate facilities, separate systems, separate lives within the same industrial machine. And then there was convict leasing. While Sloss Furnaces itself didn't rely heavily on convict labor inside the plant, the coal mines supplying it did. Men, often arrested on minor or unjust charges, were leased from the state and forced into dangerous labor. No pay, no choice. A system many historians now call slavery by another name. By the late 1800s, this system generated a massive portion of Alabama's state revenue. The New South wasn't just being built, it was being extracted. For decades, the furnaces burned on, through expansion, through innovation, through war. Major upgrades between 1927 and 1929 modernized the plant, keeping it competitive well into the 20th century. During World War II, production reached its peak, but nothing lasts forever. By the 1960s, the furnaces were aging, environmental regulations tightened, and cheaper materials from outside Alabama began to replace what once made Birmingham unique. In 1971, after nearly 90 years of operation, the fires went out. Silence replaced the roar, and for a moment, it looked like Sloss would disappear. But Birmingham wasn't ready to forget. Local citizens fought to preserve the site, not just for what it built, but for what it meant. In 1977, voters approved funding to save it. In 1981, Sloss Furnaces became a National Historic Landmark, and today it stands as one of the only preserved blast furnace sites of its kind in the United States, a place where you can walk through the skeleton of industry itself. And standing there, walking through those towering structures, I'll be honest, we expected to feel something different. Maybe heavier, maybe haunted. Sloss has a reputation for ghost stories, but for us, it felt quiet, almost still. We were tired, hot, and somehow we even managed to lose each other again. I turned around and Dusty was just gone. So I kept walking, exploring alone through iron and echoes, taking in the scale of it all. And maybe that's the thing about places like this. Sometimes the story hits you like a freight train, and sometimes it just lingers quietly, waiting for you to catch up to it later. If you enjoy uncovering the stories behind places like this, the ones built on ambition, struggle, and everything in between, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. What piece of history should we explore next? Sloss Furnaces is more than just rusted steel and silent towers. It's the place where Birmingham was forged, where vision turned into industry, and industry reshaped an entire region. But it's also a reminder that progress isn't just measured in what we build, but in the lives that carried the weight of it. And long after the fires have gone out, those stories are still here.